Good morning, everybody. Now it's Earl Stewart live right now, and I know I tell you this every week, but sometimes it's truer than others. But we have got an exciting show for you. Probably, arguably, maybe the most exciting show we've done in a long time. It's a huge amount of breaking news in the auto industry, and there's also a huge technological breakthrough here at Earl Stewart on Cars. We are now on Zoom. You heard it correctly. Video participation. Radio callers will now be also in the movies because you're going to be on television, Zoom, whatever you want to call it. And we have another number. Your regular callers will say, oh, no, you got too many numbers. Yeah, we got text numbers. We got anonymous feedback numbers. We got telephone numbers. Now we got a Zoom number. So, hey, we got to deal with this. It's the 21st century, and it's really, really exciting. I mean, autonomy, autonomous driving, crazy stuff going on. Now, Nancy will give you all the details of the numbers that you need to call. I'll give out the regular ones, and of course, as you know, Nancy Stewart is my co-host, co-founder of the show some 20 years ago. I mean, 20 years ago, it was like we were riding a horse, and now we're in a spaceship in terms of technology. Half an hour. We did one show. This is a true story. We did one show, and the radio station was broken, the tower. there was no signal. And for a half an hour, we yacked. We were sweating like bullets because nobody was calling, and we just figured we just weren't, interesting to anybody. It was one of the worst half hours of our life. And then finally, after it was all over, the manager of the station said, I just found out that the station was not sending a signal out. So I guess that's a better news than the fact that we were so bad nobody was listening. But here we are, 2 hours. We're on from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. We're in South Florida, the Sodom and Gomorrah of the automobile dealers. We're in a little town called North Palm Beach, which is about 75 miles north of Miami. And it's rough, tough. It's Dodge City here for car dealers. We're going to talk to you, for the newer listeners, as the old listeners know about this, how to buy or lease a car or maintain or repair your car without being taken advantage of by car dealers. Now, I really don't even have to say this because I know if you're listening to the show, you probably have a car, you probably have bought a car, and you probably have had a nightmarish-like experience, or at least a bad experience, with a car dealer somewhere. If you didn't, if you have a trusted car dealer, God bless you, and you're a very lucky person, because most car dealers are just not doing business the way they should be in the 21st century. And speaking of breaking news, we got some breaking news on that too, with Amazon. And we'll talk about that a little bit later too. But this Amazon project to be able to sell Hyundais has got legs now, and it's moving fast. And well, we'll talk about it later. If you want to call the show, and I hope you want to call the show, because no matter what I say and how excited I get about the show, it's what you have to say that is the meat and potatoes of the show. It's really, really the essence of the show are the callers. And we can have Zoom, we can have anonymous feedback, we can have text. The good old-fashioned telephone, folks, we love you. The telephone, 877-960-9960. And I wish you'd write that down if you can, if you're not driving or something, but 877-960-9960. As I say, the show goes on for 2 hours, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And people tune in and tune out. People don't listen to 2 hours of radio. I mean, maybe one person does. I don't know. But my family, maybe Nancy's family. But normally people listen to the radio for 15 or 20 minutes. They might tune back in later. So write the number down, 877-960-9960. That's 877 960-9960. And we will prioritize your call. I know we got text. I know we got anonymous feedback. I know we got Zoom now, but good old-fashioned telephone. We have a caller. Nancy has just signaled me.
Yes, and quickly, I'm going to give out some very important information. So, Joanne, hold on. And by the way, Joanne's a first-time caller. Okay, ladies, what we have here for you is that, as usual, it's an exciting offer. It's a special promotion just for our female listeners and callers. First, 2 new lady callers. You can...
$50.
I just forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, I got everybody's attention, I bet. Okay, ladies, first 2 new lady callers. You can win yourself $50 this morning. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. In addition to that, we have a new feature on Earl on Cars, and it is going to be amazing. Just like everything else, it'll take time to fine-tune everything. So, I just have to ask you for your patience. So, we are going to take calls through Zoom. Yes. And if you can't get through on our regular line, you can get through via Zoom. And that Zoom number, jot it down, 926-589-0586.
And one caveat, you have to be a member. You have to have a membership in Zoom. You have to participate. So that limits the number of calls.
Well, I'll tell you what. If they don't have a Zoom account, this will certainly give you an incentive. $100. $100 if you give us a call.
First 3.
If you don't have an account, you'll get one. And if you do have an account, you'll call us 926-589-0586. And ladies, being the first 2 new lady callers, you'll not only win $50, but if you have an account with Zoom, you will win an additional $100. Important number, jot it down.
$150 for a Zoom first-time lady caller. Wow.
Exactly. We have an exciting show this morning. And again, I'll give the number out several times. 926, the Zoom number, 926-589-0586. We've got so much to get to. So we are going to go right to the phones, and we're going to talk to Joanne, who's been holding. And guess what? She is a first-time caller. Good morning, Joanne.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
Excited. Thank you for calling and supporting the female audience. You won yourself $50 this morning, and you can stay on the line when we're finished talking. And you can leave your information with Jeremy in the control room, and he'll give it to me after the show. And I'll send that check out to you this week. How's that sound?
Oh, that sounds great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Joanne. I have a question for you before we get started. Do you have a Zoom account?
I do, but I am on the road, so I'm not going to be able to do it at this time.
Okay. I'm sure that you heard the Zoom number, and if you didn't, I'll repeat it later on in the show. Thank you for calling. What can we do for you this morning?
I just have one question. I have a 2008 Prius, which I love. It has 42,000 miles on it. It drives great, and I'm just wondering if you could tell me approximately how long the battery pack averages as far as lasting and mileage.
Well, we're going to let Rick Kearney answer that question. It's really kind of a two-phase question.
Yeah.
How long is it under warranty is an easy one, and how long will it last is a little bit more of a challenge, but you don't have very many miles on that car. Rick, what do you think?
Well, the warranty is 10 years, 150,000 miles.
There you go.
How long will it last? There's so many factors that it's hard to really put a a time on it, but the quality of them has improved so much that now they're 200,000-300,000, maybe more.
Well, in your
I mean-
experience,
That's right.
and you see probably more Priuses than almost anybody. How many Priuses have you worked on because of the battery running out, kind of an issue? And it had this. Now this is 2008. That's an older car. It's only 42,000 miles.
Yeah,
But you're
yeah.
talking about a what is that? 14. 16. How old is that car?
16 years old. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
2015.
it's
I think
really
it's
hard to
16.
say because I've seen them go as soon as like 120,000 miles, and I've seen others 300,000 miles still going.
But time is time
So-
an issue as well?
Not
as-
always, actually. It's more the miles.
Yeah.
It's really more the mileage
Well,
on the
that's
battery.
encouraging, Joanne.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even realize that. I always say I learn something on this show every week. So the hybrid battery doesn't degrade just from time, but the miles is really what works it down.
Right. It's because it's the charging cycles that it's getting charged up and down, up and down, up and down.
Right.
And so the more it's used, the more of that lifespan is eventually going to get worn out.
Yeah, that repetitious
Exactly.
move over and
Yeah,
over
but
again.
on your car, I would just go with the mindset of continue with basic maintenances, just the basic oil change, tire rotation, air filter, cabin filter when it needs it, and I would try to avoid putting money into little things on it.
Can we do a battery check? I don't think we can.
There really isn't,
That's
unfortunately. Yeah, because-
unfortunate. With a normal battery, you can put a load test on, but with a hybrid battery, it just kind of there are no symptoms. It's like when it goes, and there are very few. Are there any symptoms at all?
Not really, because it's actually the way the hybrid battery is built. There are 36 separate batteries
Yeah,
inside.
it is complicated. Yeah.
So it's a very complicated system, but the computer watches over it quite well.
Now, Joanne,
So I would
you
just
could have keep
going.
another 16 years in that car with a little bit of luck.
Yeah,
That's great news, right, Joanne?
Yes, and thank you for all the information. It was really certainly helpful.
yeah.
So I do appreciate you responding to it.
Thanks, Joanne. And as I said, stay on the line and keep those miles low on your Prius. And if you take care of your
Will do.
Prius, your Prius will take care of you.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a great weekend.
Thank you. The same. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And remember, we have a new feature on Earl on Cars, and that is the Zoom feature. And if you don't have a Zoom account, this may, well, push you in the direction of making that decision for a Zoom account. Because if you call us at 926-589-0586, you can win yourself $100 this morning. And if it comes from a lady who is a first-time caller and has a Zoom account, she can win herself $150.
First three callers.
And yes, as Earl said, the first three callers. 926-589-0586. We're going to go back to the phones and we're going to talk to Brooklyn, who's calling us from Boca. Good morning, Brooklyn.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Actually, it's Brooklyn George. And I wanted to say good morning to you, Nancy, Rick, and Earl.
Thank
And
you.
I don't know if you remember me, but I had spoke to you folks about 3 or 4 weeks ago with reference to my 2012 Venza that the computer suddenly went dead on me.
Yes.
And that problem has been rectified. And I just wanted to see if Rick was interested in hearing what the prognosis was, which might not have been the computer.
yeah, I would like to hear that.
Yeah, my mechanic had switched out the computer, to make a long story short, and programmed the VIN number, and it still would not start, nothing. So what he did was he enlisted help of, I guess, a higher-up technician on electronics to figure out what's going on. And what they found out was inside the fuse box, underneath the hood, there's sort of this plastic encasement that slides in and out, bolts in and out, that has sort of a myriad of fuses, pull-out fuses on it. And also on the inside, about 6 blister pack types of fuses that I guess they're designed for higher usage.
Yeah, they're fusible links, they call them.
Yeah, a T30, a T45, and one of them had actually bursted. It was black.
Yep.
And I don't know, my technician says, well, that blew out first, which took down the computer. Who knows?
It's
All I know is
actually
my-
very possible, yeah.
Yeah. So my car is running great again, and I just wanted to touch base with you, just give you that information.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
Well, thanks
though.
very much, George. I appreciate the feedback. We always wonder after a caller gets some advice from the show, what happened. So we really appreciate you taking the time to let us know.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome,
And I'll
Brooklyn
let you-
George. We really appreciate you calling, and as Earl said, and Rick, keeping us up to speed on what's going on. It's very helpful, not only to us, but our listeners.
Well, I enjoy the show, and I enjoy the folks that call in also. You have a very nice show.
Oh, thank you so much. You have a great weekend. Do you have
you.
a Zoom account?
No, I do not.
Okay. Did you hear that announcement I made when we opened the
Oh.
show?
Absolutely. I've been listening since you opened the show.
Oh, great. Spread the word, Brooklyn George. Maybe there's someone out there that you know that has the Zoom account. It can be quite profitable if they give us a call.
Okay, will do.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Thank you all.
You're welcome. Our number where you can reach us by phone is 877-960-9960. You can also text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget, if you do have a Zoom account and you are going to call us, you can do so at 926-589-0586. And you can win yourself $100. That's for the first 3 Zoom callers. And for the ladies, I have one more lady that I need to call. I have $50 I'd like to share with you. And not only that, but if you have a Zoom account, you can win yourself $150 this morning. So take advantage of all that. And don't forget, you can always text us. Our text number is 772-497-6530. I know it's a lot of numbers, but everyone will get used to it just like we will. And I'll be repeating these numbers throughout the show. If you so choose, you can go to youranonymousfeedback.com and get in touch with us that way and remain anonymous. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
Yeah, we don't want to forsake our YouTubers because our YouTubers are really the backbone of the show. I don't know how Zoom's going to fly. I do know we get a lot of phone calls, which is great, but YouTube is something special. We not only have a large number of regular YouTube callers, but we have remarkably well informed on YouTube. I'm not sure why that is, but you go to youtube.com/Earl on Cars, youtube.com/Earl on Cars. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't have a YouTuber that broke the ice on the Zoom, because you guys and gals are tech savvy, and you might be the one that's going to break the ice on the Zoom call. By the way, I want to thank Jonathan, our producer here in the studio, who really worked his tail off to put this thing together. It was no economic piece of cake. And he had to work with the station people here, the technical people, and it took a lot of going back and forth. I don't know another radio station that has Zoom. And I think if we can kick this off and make it a success, I think we might be a real pioneer in radio. I mean, I don't want to be negative about radio, but we all know that radio used to be the dominant force in the country, and now television came along, and then digital came along, and so television now we have Zoom. So Zoom can be the rescue for the radio show. I think you can have your cake and eat it too. You got the person you're talking to live and in color, side by side with the person he's talking to. So there we are. But Zoomers, we love you. You're our favorites. Thank you very much. Zoom.com. I'm getting my .coms confused. YouTube.com/Earl on Cars. And also, I almost forgot about Facebook. How could I forget Facebook? Facebook.com/Earl on Cars. God, we have too many venues, roads to Earl Stewart on Cars, and that'll be another challenge for maybe Jonathan to figure out how we can avoid confusing everybody. And I don't know if there is an answer to that. Is it possible we have too many ways to contact the show?
I don't think so. I think that everyone is excited. I think it'll take time to catch on, and I think it's going to be a great thing, and it's going to be unique for a studio, a radio studio. It's going to be phenomenal. Speaking of YouTube that you were talking about, Rick, did you see the young lady who went for a test drive and stole the car?
No, I didn't see that story.
That's on YouTube. Everything you want is on YouTube.
Guns drawn, and it was crazy. It popped up on my phone this morning, so I don't have any other details because we were like 150 miles an hour on autonomous this morning. Not exactly. But at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that I'll be repeating all these numbers periodically throughout the show. And as Earl mentioned, $100 for anyone who calls, and they're calling this particular number, which is 926, and it's the Zoom number, 926-589-0586.
Here's a hot topic that for you people thinking about going on YouTube or Facebook or telephone number or Zoom or whatever. Probably the most exciting, scary headline news involving car dealers happened this week. And if you watch the evening news on any network or any way you get your news, you heard about the cyberspace attack on car dealers. A huge number of car dealers are basically out of business as we speak. On, I think it was June 21st or so, that Nancy saw it on television. And she said, it was in the evening, she said, did you hear about the cyber attack on car dealers' computer systems? I said, no. I said, we weren't affected. I said, it's probably just a few dealers. Well, we come to find out it's a huge number of dealers, thousands and thousands of them, who are basically out of business, computers kaput. And if you're from South Florida, and if you're a Toyota dealer, it is even more pervasive. Most of the Toyota dealers in South Florida are without computers. Now, we got lucky because we used a different computer management system, a customer, they call it customer communication system, and we were not affected. So I didn't even know about it, but at the time that was announced on the air, car dealers they can't sell a car because they have to use a computer. They can't order a car from the factory because they have to use the computer. They can't pay their employees. I'm telling you, there are a lot of car dealers that are terrified right now. And
back to pen and paper. I have something exciting for you. You're going to love this. We have 2 Zoom callers.
Holy mackerel!
How do you like that? And I believe
my
that
teeth
the
are
first.
chattering. I can't take the pressure.
Hang on to your hat. Jonathan, did you say Megan?
Well, Marty is on.
Oh, Marty. Hey, Marty. Also, Roger, hang on for a second. Marty, can you hear me? Marty?
We told you this would be a technical challenge.
Okay, Marty, hang on, and we'll get back to you on Zoom, and we're going to talk to Roger. Roger, are you still there? Hello?
We don't have audio. Yeah, we probably have video because Jonathan's got.
On Zoom.
Yes, Marty's on Zoom.
Okay, Marty's on Zoom. Why can't we
And
hear him?
Roger's on the phone,
So,
and I can't hear anything.
well, listen,
But we have a video.
Marty, you qualify for the $100, even though we can't hear you. That's our problem, and we'll work around that problem. And for both you callers, hang on and leave your contact information with Jeremy in the control room.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
There's Marty.
I see.
Hey, hi, Marty. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can't hear you, but you can. I assume you can hear. If you can hear us, raise your right hand. Marty, if you can hear us, raise your right hand.
Marty is raising his hand.
Jonathan, is the audio affecting you?
Okay. Oh, I heard something.
You had an echo from your microphone.
Oh,
Marty, can you?
okay. You got to laugh.
was
if we
pretty
weren't
cool
laughing,
echo, though.
if we didn't laugh, we'd be crying, folks. I'm sure this is what all the great inventions in history encountered at the beginning, even the telephone, the radio, and now Zoom on radio.
Yeah, exactly. Jonathan, besides Marty, who else?
We have a technical issue right now in terms of the sound coming through.
Okay. If you can hear us okay, Jeremy, I know Jeremy can hear us in the control room. Please get the contact information of these two Zoom calls.
Marty's waving at us. Hi, Marty.
Oh,
I'm
oh.
waving back at Marty.
Okay, we have Marty. Marty, the $100. If you give your contact information to Jerry, don't hang up. Jeremy will get you that. And if for some reason you still are not able to communicate, you can either call back or you can text us back. Just call the regular 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960, because I want to get you that $100.
Yeah.
Because
Ju-
this is a matter of history. Marty is the first Zoom caller on our Earl Sterling Cars radio show. You have a
Absolutely.
special place in history.
And to dot all the I's and cross the T's, ladies and gentlemen, as we, stumble through this whole Zoom thing, please, if you can't leave your information so that you can receive your check, you can text me or you can call me at 561-386-6498. You can talk to me personally. Rick?
Now, I saw on the list there, we had Negan Smith and Brenda Wise were the next two coming up, and they're both YouTubers. So, can we try getting Negan?
We definitely. Jonathan, was Nigan on first?
Marty was on first.
Okay, we got Marty, and call number 2 on Zoom.
Are we getting sound over the over?
Bear with us, folks. That number again if you have a Zoom account, is 926-589-0586. 926-589-0586.
And we might want to soft pedal that number until we figure out how we can talk to people when they call
Yeah.
in. But this is, again, seriously, folks, this is history in the making. This is Zoom on radio, and we got a couple glitches here with the audio, but we're going to work through it.
Yeah, once we pull up your video on Zoom, if you raise your hand, we'll know that you can hear us. So we'll rely on that. Okay, Negan? Jonathan, should we hold off and just go?
Negan.
Negan? Should we hold off on Negan and the other call and just go to the regular calls at 877-960-9960? Okay, he's shaking his head. We're going to go back to the phones, and which I'm manning from my X screen, and we're going to talk to Roger.
Hello, Roger.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody today?
Excited.
We're flustered.
We're very excited, Roger. Hey, Roger,
Yeah.
do you have a Zoom account?
I do. I It's set up on a computer. I didn't know you could use it on the cell phone.
Well, unfortunately, you can't because we're having some technical problems. But keep that in mind. We'll have the bugs worked out. We've had 2 or 3 Zoom callers, but audio isn't coming through. So I'm glad you're on the old-fashioned telephone, old
Yeah.
reliable.
And Roger, when you can give us a call on our Zoom number, you can win yourself $100, and you can give a call back.
Yeah, that
Okay.
would be exciting. I'm sorry that I don't know how to use Zoom on the cell phone, but if I had my computer set up, which I don't,
Good.
I would be right there with you right now.
Oh, well, thank you. What can we do for you this morning, Roger?
My question, I have a couple of questions really for Rick.
Okay,
He's the,
Rick's right here. He's
the
listening.
mechanic expert, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. I have a 2011 Honda Element.
Okay.
It's got about 115,000 miles on it. And I've been toying with the idea of changing some of the fluids. And the first question I had for Rick, do I have to use Honda fluid or can I buy fluid that's Honda certified at any parts house?
And I'm going to take a cop out. Here's my basic answer on this is the first thing I would do is go to your owner's manual. The actual the book that would have come in your car for your recommended maintenances. I know Honda will have one. Same thing as Toyota. And if you don't have the hard copy, you'll be able to find it online. But look and see what the recommended intervals are for those fluid changes. And if you decide that your car does qualify under like extreme conditions and you want to do those changes, that's fine. But also in your owner's manual, it will list each of the Honda fluids and it will tell you what is an acceptable aftermarket substitute, as in like for gear lube and things like that, or automatic transmission fluid. It will tell you what the acceptable aftermarket fluid is that you'll be able to get just right from like AutoZone or other parts houses like that.
Yeah, your
without
Honda
going to the
dealer should be able to give you that information.
Okay, so my second question is the transmission fluid. You know, there's pros and cons. Never change the fluid, always change it every so many miles. What's your take on that?
I've heard all the sides of it, and
I just did a chat GBT, and Honda strongly recommends you use their fluid, and they do that for all of their fluids. I got that from chat GBT AI, and the caveat there is most manufacturers take that stance. Why? Because they want to sell you their fluid. So you'd have to dig a little deeper. I would bet, I'd be willing to bet that there are acceptable fluids that would substitute for the Honda. But you'd want to be very careful. In your case, the car's out of warranty, so that's not going to be an issue. But if your car was within warranty, I would definitely go with the manufacturer's recommended fluid, because they could use that as a technicality to void your warranty on something. But you've got 150,000 miles and you got a 13-year-old car. I do a little checking around and get a high-quality brand name. Look at Amazon and get a rating on these and ask about the acceptability. But I think you could probably save yourself a lot of money.
I agree.
That's what I was thinking.
And on the idea of that whole thing about, if on an older transmission, if you change the fluid, it's going to break down. No, if your transmission breaks down because of a fluid change, then you had other problems that were going to occur very shortly anyways. So I would not feel a problem on that for changing the fluid. That would not be something that would make me go away from it.
The brake fluid, by the way, Roger, is an exception. Honda does say that it's acceptable to use a good brake fluid from a reliable brand that meets Honda's specifications.
By the way, on the brake fluid, I was going to ask, I don't think I have the time to get under the car and bleed all the brakes, but if I sucked all the fluid out of the reservoir and replaced that fluid, Is there any benefit from that?
If you did it about, say, once every 1,000 miles, about 5 times over, you would basically dilute all the old fluid back to new fluid over time. But it would take a while to do that because that fluid, not only is there what's in the reservoir, but you got the master cylinder, the ABS actuator, and all the lines, and what's in the calipers. So there's actually quite a bit of fluid left in that system, other than what's just in the
Okay, well, listen, thank you so much.
Well, thank
I
you,
got my
Roger.
work cut
Appreciate
out
the
for
call.
me, and I know what to do.
Very good.
Thank you,
Excellent.
Roger. Give us a call. Let us know how that turned out for you. Our number here is 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And if you have a Zoom account, you can always Zoom us. Win yourself $100 for the first 3 Zoom callers. That number is 589-0586. We're going to stay with the phones, and we are going to go to Marty, who's calling us from West Palm Beach.
Hey, Marty.
Can you hear?
Good morning,
Hey.
Marty.
Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on that old regular phone.
Okay.
Well, we tried, and thank you for participating. And you won $100, by the way. So,
Stay on the line and give Jeremy your contact information so I can I can get that check out to you. And congratulations. This is
All right.
this is a very exciting day, and you are the first Zoom caller, and we're just overwhelmed. What can we do for you?
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank you. I wanted to be Earl Stewart history making.
Oh, thank you.
as am I as handsome as Nancy tells me I am? Oh, you don't have to answer that. Never mind.
I have a question though. I changed my wife's filters in her Honda CRV. And I know dealerships charge a lot. What my question is it good to do it at the dealership, or is it good to try to find a cheaper place that can do a simple job?
Marty, here's the answer. It isn't a question of whether it's a dealership or another place. Unfortunately, car dealers use the oil change as a starting position for a new technician. So typically, not all the time, but typically, when you go into a car dealership, the guy that does your rotates and balances your tires or changes your oil, he's new. He's qualified. They interviewed him. He passed some tests, but he's still learning the business. And there's nothing that's going to mess your car up more than to lose all the oil in your car while you're driving down the highway, and that's happened. It's happened to my dealership. Of course, we've been there for almost 50 years, so a handful of times we've had a situation where an apprentice mechanic, just out of lack of experience, did that. Didn't tighten the plug, the oil plug. The plug dropped out. So if I were a consumer and a car driver and I wasn't a car dealer and I was going to have my oil change, I would try some of the fast lube places. I would also consider the dealership. The fast lube places will be much lower cost. But before I let anybody change my oil, I say, who's going to change my oil? And then I would let him know I'm interested in his qualifications. I'd want to know how long he'd been on the job and how many oil changes he's done, how long he's been with the company. And if you got yourself somebody you trust, but even though it's relatively inexpensive to have the oil change, it's catastrophic if it's not done right.
Right. Okay, well, these were the filters I was talking about.
What's that, Marty?
I was talking just about the air filter and the cabin filter.
Yeah, Rick's probably why he was waving at me.
I recommend those usually at around every 30,000 miles.
Okay.
Or if
Okay, but I mean, is it worth having the dealer? I mean, for 30,000 miles, that's like 3 years almost driving.
yeah,
So I mean, it's not a big deal if you do it every 3 years and have the dealer rip you off a little.
I would not do it at the Jiffy Lube places because
Right.
there's been a huge cry out from a lot of them. A lot of places, you hear about them keeping a dirty filter.
Well, Jiffy
They
Lube,
come and show it.
Jiffy Lube is one company. There's probably a dozen quick lube places, and I can't
Yeah.
remember all their names. So, are you talking about just Jiffy Lube?
No, generic across the
Oh,
board. with
generic,
these
okay, yeah.
Quick lube
Well,
places.
yeah.
They'll keep a dirty filter, show it to you, and then they'll charge you $60 for a filter and
Well,
$50 to put it in.
Well, I'm going to slightly disagree with you. I think that does happen. I think you need to be alert for it. But there are fast lube companies that are honest and have good technicians working for them and do a good job. The risk might be higher to get one of those nasty ones that doesn't do what he's supposed to do in a quick lube, because I think the hiring requirements are higher in dealerships. But if you find yourself a trusted technician, whether it's at a quick lube store or not, and you know the person that's changing your oil, you can save a ton of money, and you should do it.
Okay, and the only other thing I was going to say is it took 6 months from my production date to get my second key. And for people that only got one key,
Yeah.
that it took at least 6 months.
That's ridiculous. It's inexcusable what all the manufacturers, including Toyota, did. And it's a simple matter of the bottom line, money, profit. When we had the supply chain issue with COVID, it's over with, thank God. Microchips especially were almost impossible to come by. High demand, low supply. So the manufacturers had to decide, you got to give a guy a key to buy a new car. I can't sell a new car if I don't give him a key. But if I give him 2 keys, I'm going to not be able to build a second car, and I got people waiting for that second car I could build. So there in a nutshell is why even today, because even though demand is kind of catching up with supply, it hasn't totally caught up with supply. And Toyota, Honda, Ford, General Motors, they're all guilty of making a second key unavailable to their customers, because if they do that, it can cost them the sale of a car, the dealer and the manufacturer.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. I'll stay on the line for Jeremy.
Yes, do that so that I can get that check out to you, Marty. And also, I was just looking at an update on Crown cars and the camera defect. And it was a news article that just came out, I believe it was yesterday, and it affects 13,000 Toyota Crowns. And no, the news came out on Friday, and it's citing defects with built-in cameras. And if you want to know if it's affected your Crown, you can go to Toyota's website of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Nancy, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend. I have an announcement to make before I get to the next call as far as Zoom is concerned. If you have been trying to get through on the number that I gave out earlier for the Zoom number, which is 926-589-0586, we're having a little difficulty, not surprising. Next week will be even better than this week. But my point, give us a call on our number, our regular number, which is 877-960-9960, and let us know that you did give us a call on the other number. I hope I haven't confused
Well, we'll
you.
know because Jonathan will see the call. We just can't hear the call.
Right, Jonathan? Okay. So give us a call at 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Take advantage of youranonymousfeedback.com. We're going to go to the Roadrunner, and he has been holding and he calls us from Boynton. Good morning. How are you, Steve?
Good morning,
Beep, beep.
everybody. I also heard about that computer hack problem with the car dealers. So, if I'm a car salesman, why can't I use pencil and paper, like you said, and use a telephone? So, in other words, I'm losing money because of this.
You know, it's nice to talk to another old guy because I feel the same way. You know, I sold cars for many years. I ran dealerships for many years, and we didn't know what a computer was. I mean, we did everything by hand. The buyer's order, we sold the car, the finance of installment sales contract to finance the car, we filled that out by hand. And when they came along with a computer, it was like a miracle. And we even did our accounting all by hand. And so computers were like Zoom to us back 50 years ago. So, but that's what happens when technology takes over. People forget how to do that. You're not going to believe this, but the banks are actually refusing to accept contracts that aren't printed out by a computer. So if I sold a car and I filled it out by hand and I want to get my money and I give the contract to the bank, which is the normal process to get your money, they won't take it. They're going to make me have it printed out on a computer. But my computers are working fine. I got lucky. Of all the Toyota dealers in South Florida, my Toyota dealership was one of the few that was not affected because we had a different computer system. So, but you're right. I understand exactly how you feel. How can you imagine what would happen with a cyber attack on the financial system? How about the New York Stock Exchange? How about or hospitals? How about doctors? I mean, people aren't too excited because who cares about the car dealers? I mean, they're probably saying they deserve it. Rick?
Just remember, it's not just this car sales, car service, and body shop, and everything at the dealership.
Everything's computerized.
Everything
There's
across
nothing
the
we do in a
board.
All of it
dealership
is
that's
shut
not
down.
computerized.
Well, let me bring up my old story. Remember when I tried to get an oil change on my Roadrunner? Oh, it don't show up on a computer.
Yep.
Okay, the other thing was my friend was at a service station, and the guy told him he could put spark plugs in there that last 100,000 miles. Is that possible?
In which car? In your Roadrunner?
A Nissan Titan 2016.
Oh yeah, depending on the vehicle. Right now, we have cars that the first spark plug interchange, the first recommended time to replace the spark plug is 150,000 miles. That's when the factory says to do it for the first time.
Oh, okay. Now, the other thing was, have you seen these mini trucks riding around anywhere? I think they're made in Thailand or Japan. They call them truckettes.
I've seen some internet vehicles like that they're getting shipped over here, and how they're getting them road legal, I don't know, because they obviously haven't passed any of the safety checks or anything.
I haven't seen any.
I've seen 3 of them so far. I think they look pretty cool.
Yeah, I've only seen them on like the internet on YouTube and that, but I don't think they're actually road legal.
Well, I seen them driving.
Okay.
I didn't stop and look at it.
Hey, Steve,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did you call a Zoom number 926-589-0586?
I'm on a flip phone.
Okay, so you did or you didn't?
Did.
And
Well,
guess
I
what?
didn't know.
Guess what, Steve? Before we go on, that flip phone, everybody's running out to purchase one. That was in the Wall Street Journal just this week. It was. They are on fire. Okay, back to my question: did you or did you not call the Zoom number?
No, if I did, I would have donated the $100 back to the Big Dog Ranch.
Okay, well we have to clarify things. Okay, Jonathan, Roadrunner, he didn't. He didn't.
I did.
Thanks,
But like I said, I would have donated it
Thanks,
back to the
Steve.
Big Dog Ranch.
Thank you for that. And have a great weekend.
Oh.
877-960-9960. 877-960-9960. 9960. We are not taking any Zoom calls. We simply can't. No audio. You can also text us at 772 497 6530. Don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. And we're going to go back to the recovering car dealer.
Yeah, we talked briefly, and Steve, the last caller, brought up the subject of the cyber attack on car dealers. A high percentage of car dealers were affected. Your car dealership may be affected. It's all makes of cars all over the country. One of the primary computer servicing companies, CDK, used to be called ADP a long time ago, was hacked. And I believe the hackers were from overseas somewhere, Nigeria or China or someplace, and they are blackmailing the computer company, CDK, for tens of millions of dollars. And according to the Automotive News, believe it or not, CDK, the computer company, has agreed to pay the ransom. Now, that's good and that's bad. It's good for the dealers that they'll be able to start doing business again. It's bad because of the fact that it sets a precedent that other hackers, and there's no short supply of hackers out there, folks. They're all over the world. So you can be sitting in the most remote corner of the world, and you can hack somebody in New York City. Now, I know you're not too upset about car dealers being hacked. A lot of you out there, including me, think a lot of the dealers deserve it. But if you can hack a car dealer's computer system, you can hack hospitals. You can hack emergency services. You can hack the New York Stock Exchange. That is I've never really felt the impact or the severity of how important it is to protect your computers. And one of the things that you car dealer haters out there, and I'm one of you, are the people that are not crazy about car deals, think about yourself, because your data now is exposed.
Exactly.
And if you bought a car, if you gave all your personal details about your credit, all the information that you gave that car dealer is now in Nigeria or China or Japan or Alaska. I don't know where it is. Hackers can operate anywhere in the world, and there are a lot of very smart people out there. They probably, there's probably a lot of parts of the world. They say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I want to be a hacker, because you can make more money faster, tax-free, if you're sharp and know how to hack a computer, and a lot of people do. So, you listeners to Earl Stewart on Cars Now, check with your dealer and find out. If you can't get through on the phones, that's a bad sign, because the computers are affected, affect phones and everything else that's going on in the dealership. But get an assurance that your dealership, that you're servicing your car, maintaining, repairing your collision repair, you're buying parts, you're buying new cars, you're buying used cars. If you have business with a car dealership, before I went back in there, I would find out, have they been hacked? And hopefully, if it's true that CDK is paying the ransom, it's possible that the dealers could be back as early as Monday, and that's this coming Monday. But if I were planning to buy a car this weekend or have my car serviced this weekend, I'd be very sure that car dealership was not a victim. And as I say, I think there's something like 15,000 dealers that are affected.
Right.
That's a high percentage. And for some reason, a high percentage of those are in South Florida. It's almost like, just desserts. I mean, 7,000 are in South Florida. No, 7,000 are Toyota dealers, and almost all of the Toyota dealers in South Florida were affected. And it was like 7,000 dealers in the Southeast, Toyota dealers. Toyota got hit especially hard. So if you're buying any car, servicing any car, doing any kind of business with a car dealership, check. And if it's a Toyota that you have and that you're doing business with a Toyota dealer, be very sure that this dealership has not been hacked. And if you're into privacy, which a lot of us are, not me, because my life is an open book, but most people are sane, unlike me, and they do like their privacy, and I respect that. But if you value your privacy, you might want to make a few inquiries. You might even want to call your attorney, because you have been victimized if your dealership has been hacked. So just a word out there. You can Google this. You can every newspaper, all
It's
the
everywhere.
networks have been
It's everywhere.
blasting all over the news.
Yeah, and those dealerships are reverting to pen and paper. So remember, folks, what Earl said. Customer data. This is very serious. So if you'd like to give us your input, call us 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget your anonymousfeedback.com. Earl?
Well, Rick, you have any YouTube messages or any kind of messages at all?
Well, actually, let's start off with Anne Marie in our text list.
Oh, good morning, Anne Marie.
She says, "Good morning. Here's an updated question. Since Earl mentioned at the beginning of the show that there's a cyber attack on CDK Global, which did not affect his dealership, but's affected a lot of dealerships across the U.S. and Canada, what would you suggest that could help the dealerships that are affected? Lay in the stock of paper, pens, and patience?" And I think we've already got that one answered. Yeah, that was Anne Marie's this morning, right along with the CDK.
Yeah,
I just started reading it right off the back there, but
the advice to the dealers of what they can do is, first of all, you need to discover how serious this is. So if you have cars that are sold, and most cars that are sold today are financed, and these dealers are holding finance contracts, you need to find out as quickly as you can which banks or which credit unions or which lenders will accept a handwritten contract. I think it's ridiculous, and I think it might even be illegal for a business to refuse to accept a handwritten legal document. I mean, let's face it, for your convenience, it might be something you don't want to do, but I'd look into that. So car dealers, call your bank. If you give your bank a lot of business, here I am giving advice to car dealers. I can't believe I'm doing this, but anything for Anne Marie. Call your bank and say, listen, I think that you need to accept these contracts that I'm having to meticulously handwrite, and they are accurate. I guarantee the accuracy. I don't want you to buy anything that isn't completely filled out and completely accurate. But because it's a type, it's not a type number, it's a handwritten number, and I'm printing it, by the way, you should take that. Put a little pressure on them, and I think you can, because your business is important to these banks. My rest of my concern would be with my employees. I would, if my dealership, everybody is paid by direct deposit, and Rick's check comes into his, if I'm correct, goes into his bank, and every time Rick gets a check, it just appears in his bank account. Well, I can't do that now if I had been hacked, but I haven't, so I'm lucky. So I would get with my employees and then say, this is what we're going to do. We've actually, in years past, we had some situations, not nearly this serious, where we had to pay in cash, and we actually paid cash to our employees. So you want to take care of your employees. You want to take care of your customers. Communicate with your customers. Communicate with your banks. And not knowing is very dangerous. If fully inform your employees, fully inform your lending institutions, you're gonna make the least problems about this whole thing. And you probably ought to call your lawyer too, because you're going to have a lot of customers who are going to sue you over this. There's already some big class action suits on this cyber attack, because whether you like it or not, the data that you were entrusted by your customers is out who knows where and being sold to companies that want to buy your personal data.
Yeah, it can be troubling.
And folks for the service department, bear in mind they're being affected as well. But I remember plenty of times that we've had issues with the computers going down. Our service writers stepped up. We brought out old paper forms, filled them out by hand. We would write down the part numbers that we were putting on everything, and everything was being calculated on
You've been around
calculators.
too long, too, Rick. I mean, would that happen today? I mean, we don't have to worry about it because we weren't hacked. But
It's happened. It's happened.
How recently?
I think the last time I saw it happen was maybe about a year and a half ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not that long. I mean, the computer system went down.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for it to come up, we're technicians. We're going to work around that.
Yeah.
Hey, bring me my car and my parts, and I can work on it.
Yeah.
And you guys fix the computer later, and we'll get these cars moving in and out. But
A lot of
customers,
dealerships, what they do is they have a computer link with the manufacturer, and this computer link is when you get these codes and these your test machinery in the car dealership will indicate what the code is, and they can communicate directly with a factory technician via computer.
I was meaning just writing up the repair order tickets.
Yeah.
And all the internal paperwork, and we would get around it, and the technicians would keep right on working.
Yeah, when there's a will, there's a way.
But be patient with them, and give them a chance to try and get you out of there.
For sure. Rick, I'm going to give an update on that Zoom number. You had texted me about Negan.
Yeah.
Could you please get in touch with him? Maybe he's listening right now. Negan?
Oh, he is.
Please call us at 877-960-9960 so that you can leave your contact information in the control room with Jeremy. And also the same applies to Brenda. And that will bring us up to speed as far as 3 Zoom callers. I hope everyone out there heard me. I'll wait to hear from you. Again, our number is 877-960-9960. Our text number is 772-497-6530. We have our Dog of the Week. We have our Mystery Shopping Report. We got a whole lot to get to. Jonathan has Negan's contact information, and he's going to pass that along to me. We are going to go back to the phones. No, we're not. Somebody was there.
I've got an anonymous feedback here. Anonymous feedback, and we don't know who it is because it's anonymous. Says that someone should shop our dealership, Earl Stewart Toyota, for comparison. We've done that. We always shop, mystery shop our dealership. This anonymous feedback for you people that haven't listened to the show before, every week we have a mystery shop where we send an undercover agent into the dealership and pretend to buy or lease a car, and we report exactly what happened, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We name the dealership, we name the people involved, the salespeople, the sales managers. If they did something really bad, like broke a law, we say dealership XYZ broke the law. And the proof is the fact, the proof in our sincerity and our integrity is the fact that we haven't been sued in 20 years on reporting exactly what has happened in car dealerships. So the perfect defense against libel and slander is the truth. So we tell the truth. Agent Lightning does a great job, and that is what we do. We do it to our dealership. I've got about 160, 170 employees, and I would be a fool to say that everyone that worked for me was the best of the best. I would say that we might have a rotten apple in the barrel, or maybe a couple of rotten apples in the barrel. So that's the reason we do mystery shops on our own dealership. And you car dealerships out there should do the same thing. Instead of getting mad at me for mystery shopping your dealership and embarrassing you over the air, shop your own dealership. If you're sincere about wanting to do a better job, then find out if you have some problems, and you don't have to fire somebody because they did a bad job. You can coach them You can give them some more training. You can clarify what their job is supposed to be. And you can improve your organization, and there's nothing like a mystery shop of a dealership. So I thank the anonymous feedback. That was an excellent comment, and we do that. In fact, what we need to do probably is to read a couple of our mystery shops on the air like we do for the other dealers.
Excuse me.
Any
And
more?
we have our mystery shop this morning is from GMC Buick Cadillac in Vero Beach. We're going to go back to the phones. We're going to talk to Brenda. She's a first-time caller. Good morning, Brenda. Good
Hey.
morning.
Hi, Brenda. Did we lose you, Brenda? Are you still on the line?
Brenda, can
Yes,
you?
I'm here.
Okay, Brenda.
morning.
Did you try to reach us by Zoom?
I did.
Okay, Brenda, you won yourself $150. The $50 is for the first-time female caller. $100 is from the Zoom that we're trying to put into place. So if you hang on after we're done talking and give your information to Jeremy, I can get that check out to you.
Well, I appreciate it, but I did call in once before.
Okay, Brenda, you'll just get $100.
That's fine. Thank you. I appreciate it. I
Sure.
just want to say good morning, and I love listening to your show every week. And a shout out to Schumacher Lincoln, because I had called in and asked you all for advice months ago. And I did go to Schumacher Lincoln for service. And I just want to give a shout out to them because Dave there was wonderful.
Oh, great. Great. Thank you for letting us know that.
Of course, but most importantly, I love listening to your show. You guys are wonderful, and I learn a lot every weekend.
Thank you so much. We learn a lot from, people like you, women like you, and you keep us informed. And I'm really happy that you followed up, on the phone call. And I hope your experience was great out there at Schumacher.
It was.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Very good. Okay, then. Don't forget that information.
Okay, thank you, and have a great weekend.
You do the same, Brenda. Thanks again for calling and encouraging other women callers to call the show. Our number here is 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530, youranonymousfeedback.com. And I believe that, do you have a anonymous?
I do have an anonymous feedback.
Hey, you know something? We're really proving today, June the 22nd, that we are live.
Yeah.
Okay, here's anonymous
exciting.
feedback, and Nancy just gave you that location. It's a website, youranonymousfeedback.com. Just go to that website, and you can communicate on total anonymity. We don't know who you are, where you are. We can't come and get you if you say something bad about us. We love candor. Here's one that just came in. I just recently got an email quote from a Dodge Jeep dealership in Doral, Florida. There was only one fee, and that was called pre-delivery service charge for $599. Same fee you circled in the position in your video. He saw it on our YouTube video on these sort of things. I emailed back asking about the pre-delivery charge. The salesperson emails me back stating that the paper that's generated automatically charged pre-delivery charge, and that they did not know why that still shows that term. Well, that's his problem, right? That was editorializing by me. Back to the anonymous feedback. He states that the correct wording is just dealer fee. And the dealer fee, which is $599, can't be negotiated out. I'll comment on that later, too. I replied back asking what is in the dealer fee. Is it a document fee or an administrative fee? They have not replied back. Just another example of dealers trying to take in money from bogus fees. I love this anonymous feedback because this is an educated consumer who knows that when you see something irregular in your paperwork, you call and find out. Well, he busted that dealer. I don't know the name of the Dodge Jeep dealer in Doral, Florida, but I think there's probably only one. So beware of the Dodge Jeep dealership in Earl, Florida. It also says something to the efficiency of a company that doesn't know what their computers are saying to their customers when their customers go to their website. As far as the fact that the dealer fee cannot be negotiated, their salesman is telling you that because he doesn't get paid on the dealer fee. Now, I advise you when you find a junk fee, we call them dealer fees, we call them admin fees, we call them electronic filing fees. They make up a name and it's a junk fee. So this $599 junk fee, the salespeople don't get paid on it. So the salesperson will tell you it can't be taken off. But what the salesperson will do is he'll lower the price, because by lowering the price for you, and he has to get the manager's permission to do that, but by lowering the price, he's still getting 25% of how much the price is lowered. So he's losing that much. Whereas if he gave you $599, they take it right out of his commission, which would probably be his entire commission. So not only is a dealer charging junk fees hurting you, the unbeknownst consumer, but it's also hurting the hardworking salesman, assuming he's hardworking, that goes out there and does his best to sell a car, and you, the dealer, make a $599 profit, goes into your bank account, and you don't pay any commission to the salesperson for that. So you're making that salesperson lie to the customer and saying it can't be removed. Well, it can be removed. He can't remove it, but dealership policy is why it's still there. Okay.
Okay, we're going to go back to the phones. Then we're going to go over to Rick. But for now, we are going to be talking to Bobby in West Palm Beach. Good morning, Bobby.
Hi, how are you this morning?
We're fantastic. How about you?
Great, thanks. I have a couple things. First of all, Earl, about you being on Zoom, I've told you before, if you put Nancy on Zoom, you'll sell more cars.
I believe that. I can't believe how unawares the manufacturers and the dealers are about the power of the female buyers. They've got the money. They've got the education. They use a lot more logic in buying a car, and it would be so easy to get to that female, that huge 50% round number, probably a little more than that, of the buyers of cars are female.
I agree with you. Second, this is about a month-old information. Somebody called in about tire sensors, getting them replaced in cars. And I wanted to report that Costco will replace those sensors for about $50 or $60 per tire, which is $100 or $150 less than car dealers will do it. Car dealers will tell you that Costco can't pair the sensor with the car, but that's not true. They have the same computer the car dealers do that pairs them, and it works fine. So if you want to save a little money, that's a good thing. I do have a question about that for Rick. If one of them is going bad, let's say it's a 10-year-old car, should you replace all four or just wait until they fail?
Kind of a gray area there, because if you're getting new tires put on the car and you've already got one sensor or two sensors have gone bad, I'd go ahead and do all four, because while the technician's got the tires broke down, he can replace that sensor right then. But otherwise, I'd only replace the bad ones.
If I have 2 more minutes, I have a sales sort of a blind shopper report for you.
Love to hear it.
Oh, great.
Sure. So I had a 2012 Lexus that had a bad solenoid, and Rick and 2 other mechanics said, sell it. Don't replace it. Don't fix the transmission. And the reason why is nobody works on transmissions. They only replace transmissions. So they don't take them apart and put them back together again. It's very difficult to find.
Yeah, it can be a tough one.
So they said sell it and go on Carvana or CarMax, which I did. So it had 100,000 miles, it was 12 years old, and I put it on. I tried Carvana, and I didn't check that there was an engine light on, to see what price I'd get, and it was $8,800. And on CarMax, it was $8,600 without the light on. And then I took it to CarMax so they could see it, so I could get an idea of how much this light was costing me. And they offered me $8,000. So the light being on cost $600, which the transmission was anywhere from $4,000 to $11,000, depending on who you talk to. So that was interesting information. And I had been looking for a new or a used Lexus, a particular model and color, and stumbled across one at JM Lexus and took the car down, and they offered me $12,000 for it.
Wow.
So, and they're a one-price dealer. I know what you're talking about, one-price dealer. So the used car had a price on it. I don't know whether they were giving me a $4,000 discount on the car or what, but I ended up getting more money going to JM Lexus by a lot.
Well, it's there's no dealer, and I include my dealership in this statement. There's no dealer that you should get a price from and not shop and compare. I'd be foolish to let people think. I put my one lowest price on every car. If the President of the United States or the Premier of China came in to buy a car, he'd pay the same price that you would at my dealership. But if you shop long and hard enough and you're a good negotiator, there's some dealer that could sell you the car for less. So whether it's JM Lexus or whether it's Earl Stewart Toyota, it's a good place to start because I know JM Lexus is the largest Lexus dealer in the world. I do know that they are honest. They're 99% honest. My one gripe about JM Lexus is the fact that they advertise no dealer fee, and they do charge a dealer fee. Why they do that, I don't know. One of the reasons I don't jump on them any harder than I do is because it's a small dealer fee. I think it's like $300 or $400, something like that.
I don't think that's on there anymore. I think they took it off after you brought it to their attention.
Wow. That's the best news I ever heard. I didn't know that. Well, I'll have to call them up and thank them. I harassed them on that for years. But as I say, you can get a lower price at JM Lexus at another Lexus dealer if you're a good negotiator, and you can get a lower price at Earl Stewart Toyota at another dealership if you're a good negotiator. But there's the danger involved. You have to be educated, a consumer, because there's a big difference between buying a car for less money that's really less money and buying a car because you think it's less money. And so when we lose a lot of business at our dealership, they go to the other dealership and they tell them this is the price, and then they hide junk fees into the financing of the car, and they'll end up paying $1,000 in junk fees that they didn't know they paid. So they go and tell their friends, "Oh, I bought a car for less money than this other Toyota dealership," when they really didn't. They didn't know. But an educated consumer, which you are, you'll know if you shop and compare like at JM Lexus. There's no one dealership in the world that sells all the cars at a lower price all of the time.
I'm not a great negotiator, and I'm sort of a pain in the neck.
Well, you're like me. I hate to negotiate.
Oh, Bobby, I love to negotiate. I'm the greatest negotiator. Earl sends me in.
I'm going to come pick you up the next time I'm going for a car.
Well, I'll make it right.
I do ask at JM Lexus, which is a one-price dealer, I do say, I know this is your one price, but is it your best price, which is something Earl has taught us. And they all say, no, that's the only price we sell it at. And then I bring up Earl Stewart's name and claim to be a better friend than I am. I do know you, I do talk to you, but I claim that I know you very well, and they still don't give me any more money off.
Yeah, that and $5 gets you a cup of coffee, right?
Right. Well, thanks very much, and Costco for the tire sensors.
Yeah, thanks for that information about the sensors.
Sure.
Thank you, Bobby.
Right.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
We are going to go to Ronald. Ronald, are you still holding?
Hello, Ronald. You out there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Ronald. Welcome.
So
Yeah.
no fun place to be.
Yeah, I am too. I'm glad you're out. Hope you're feeling better.
I'm getting better.
God
But
bless you.
there we go to Longwood. I know it's on the radio, but they are not good. Go St. Mary's. Anyways, the Kia, the recall for the theft device, we got it in here. What does it do?
I'm sorry. The recall for what's the device on
The
it?
Kia, what?
Anti-theft.
Oh, the anti-theft.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they
Okay.
put this
And
there.
could you repeat the question about the
I haven't
anti-
heard of this
theft?
one.
I'm going to take that. Sorry. Anti-theft. They've got a sticker on the door. They did something about, I don't know what they did. Kia anti-theft protector. I guess they did something with the ignition, but I'm not sure.
Okay, that could be almost anything from just replacing a module that was acting up. Quite often they'll have a recall for something like that when they see the same problem occurring over and over in the one
Right.
model of car. They just say, all right, just issue the recall, get them all done, and let's not have an issue come up where they, try to do a class action lawsuit or something.
There's
Yeah.
quite a long printout on ChatGPT. On the Kia has indicated a recall to address theft concerns for certain vehicles that have been targeted due to vulnerabilities popularized on social media. Specifically, they have introduced an ignition cylinder protector device for models not eligible for their anti-theft software upgrade. This device
Well, then-
reinforces, so it is out there, and I wasn't aware of it until I just hit ChatGPT.
Yeah, I think it was a software update.
Okay.
My sister was there forever. All right. Second question was Kia Stewart affected in that hack?
In the CDK effect,
This-
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we have a list anywhere of? Is there a list of dealerships affected by the CDK issue?
I think it's all Kia dealerships. I don't believe it would be unusual just to have a few dealerships. So I think it has to do. It's the models affected include vehicles from 2010 through early 2020, such as the Kia Soul, Forte,
Right.
Sportage, and Rio.
Well, I think he's asking
Yeah.
about the CDK issue.
No?
The CDK issue?
Oh, the
The
CDK.
cyber
Oh, I'm
attack?
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
CDK. Yeah, Kia are affected. It wasn't more Toyota dealers were affected than any other, but all the manufacturers were affected by this, like 15,000 dealers. So the best thing to do is just call up and ask, hey, were you part of the cyber hack, and try to get somebody to tell you the truth, because your data will be
Out there.
shared with whoever the hacker was, and that hacker is going to be selling your data to God knows who. So it's serious. A lot of people should be upset about this. This is big. I said before earlier in the show, if it was anybody but a bunch of car dealers that were in trouble, any other retail group, there would be some empathy and a tear or two shed for the deal. I don't think people. I think people look at car dealers and say, "Oh, they're getting what they deserve." I don't think that's true. I think that's going too harsh, because not only are you
No,
affecting the customers, you're affecting the employees
Auto
and
parts
yeah.
that give the parts to the people. They can't order parts.
Everything.
Shut down.
Yeah, everything,
Yeah,
Ronald.
it just rolls downhill.
Yeah. Ronald, thanks so much for the call. Have we
I tried the Zoom thing, but it wouldn't go through.
you tried that
Said it.
number.
Invalid ID, and it wouldn't go through. And
Are you
I tried it
are you
5 times.
are you subscribed to Zoom?
Yes, I am. But
Oh.
they just something is going on. I don't know.
Well, let's send Ronald $100.
Okay,
You
Ronald.
tried, and
Really?
if you subscribe to Zoom, and you didn't get through, then we'll shoot you out $100. Can you leave your contact information with Jeremy in the control room?
Of course.
Okay, stay
You
on the
guys are
line.
great.
Jeremy will
And
get your
he'll-
contact
He'll
information.
pass it along to me, Ronald. I'll get that check out to you. Have yourself a great weekend, and I hope that you feel better soon.
Oh, they're taking care of me at Volunteers of Medicine for free,
Oh, great.
and then sending me all over Stewart for X-rays, MRIs.
That's no fun.
No, I don't like it.
Yeah.
We've both been
But I
there
have
and
to
done
do
that,
it.
Ronald. We know the mental strain, physical strain. It's terrible
Yeah,
in and out of hospitals, but we wish you the best.
yeah. And Rick's been going through a lot lately himself.
Yeah.
Ronald, have a great weekend, and we hope to hear
Okay.
from you again. Get that information to Jeremy, and I'll get that check to you. We
listen-
are. Go ahead. Okay. We are going. I'm going to have to get Jonathan a sedative quickly. And he has his own medication. He brought his own medication with him. Okay, kids, we're going to Big Dog Ranch, where it's much calmer.
Yeah, for you new listeners, I'll just interrupt you briefly here. For our new listeners, this is our pet charity. This is we've been working with Big Dog Ranch for many years. The reason we chose Big Dog Ranch is they are a home for the homeless dogs, uncomparable anywhere in any animal shelter in the country, and they're amazing people. They screen the dogs. When you buy a dog, you have got a healthy, happy dog to adopt. And also, you better be healthy and happy because Big Dog Ranch screens you as being a parent to adopt these dogs. They find homes for thousands and thousands and thousands of dogs. This is a huge operation. They're in Loxahatchee, Florida, that's western Palm Beach County. And they also have 2 other locations. But that's the reason that we push this Big Dog Ranch the Dog of the Week, we call it, every week.
Once a week. And I'm going to give a shout out to Karen, who's been listening to us. I think she's been off and on listening to us. And we really appreciate you listening, Karen. And like Karen, there are so many women out there that are listening. And I want to take a moment to thank all of you for the thank you cards that you have sent me. And I'm quite touched. We are going to go to the Dog of the Week, and the Dog of the Week's name is Blue. And he's 2 years old, and he's 61 pounds. He's a mixed breed, and we want you to take a look at the video that was sent in so you can see what Blue looks like. And Blue was found on the streets of Alabama, and they all have such sad stories in Big Dog Ranch. What a fantastic job they do out
And
there.
as I said earlier, the reason we have Blue at Big Dog Ranch in Loxahatchee, Florida, is because Alabama was going to euthanize the dog, and shelters all over the country and the world call Big Dog Ranch, and we take the dogs in because we do not euthanize. We do not put any dogs to sleep. We keep the dogs for years and years until we find a loving home.
Yeah,
End the
and-
conversation.
Yeah, and he's showering the whole family out there with love. He is so lovable. So take advantage of the Big Dog Ranch, and you can, and also, Blue just won't be given to just anybody. There's a background check. So, Jonathan, would you roll that video?
Hi, my name is Sam. I am from Big Dog Ranch. We're in Loxahatchee Groves, Florida. I'm volunteering today, and I met the sweetest dog. This is Blue. He is so sweet, so easy to be around. He's about 2 years old. He's about 60 pounds, loves kids, great with other dogs as well. He just loves to get hugs and kisses and loves to give hugs and kisses. He's working on his leash training, but he's a great dog. He's looking for his forever home, and I just had so much fun meeting him today. I fell in love. So come by and meet Blue. He's just so sweet, and we'll give you lots of hugs.
I like the fact that she's wearing a blue shirt while she's introducing Blue. That's very nice.
That is very nice. You can go to Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and you can pull up not only Blue, but all of the dogs that they have, excuse me, up for adoption. And also, we pay the adoption fees at Earl Stewart Toyota. And also, Earl's book is Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. And all the proceeds from the sale of this book goes straight to Big Dog Ranch. Go ahead. Do you have your book over there?
I don't think I think I left it home. I
Okay,
left it.
confession.
I left in a panic from home this morning.
Yeah, that's for sure. We were all in a panic. Confessions.
It's available on Amazon. You go to
Yeah.
Amazon.com, look for Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, and whatever Amazon charges you, we donate to Big Dog Ranch. Any money we get from Amazon, we donate directly to Big Dog Ranch. So we did thousands of books and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars we've given Big Dog Ranch Rescue because of what they do. They are an amazing, amazing organization.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, I hope everyone knows that. And also, they have a lot of events that are going on out at Big Dog Ranch, and be sure to check out or call them. And there's a lot of people out there who can't afford the fees for these dogs, and food and so many different things. And Big Dog Ranch is there to fulfill your needs and to make it affordable for you to adopt a dog and feed a dog.
The one question I'm really speaking to myself here, but the only thing I thought peculiar about Big Dog Ranch is why they called it Big Dog Ranch. And I think maybe when Lori Simmons founded Big Dog Ranch years and years and years ago, it probably was for big dogs. But now it's for all dogs. But I by using the name Big Dog Ranch, and they mitigate that by saying big and small, we save them all. But Big Dog Ranch, it should be Dog Ranch, Doggy Ranch. But it's a it has every breed, age. If you want a selection, they got every dog you can imagine out there. If you want a pedigree, if you want a Labrador Retriever, they got Labrador Retrievers. You want a Pekingese, you want a Chihuahua, or most of the dogs out there are mixed breed. And by the way, my preference is for mixed breeds because, well, first of all, they're healthier and they live longer. But whatever kind of dog you want, color, they have puppies, they have mothers, they have fathers. Even if you have to drive a little way to Palm Beach County, Loxahatchee, go to Big Dog Ranch, you can spend the day out there.
Yeah, how about Puppy Land?
Yeah, Puppy Land. They have a city, literally a city with little houses, and in these little houses they have puppies.
Oh,
and then next to Puppy Land, they have the maternity room, hospital, and they have all the mothers that are giving birth. And it's like a machine. They take the puppies and they move them over to Puppy Land after they leave maternity land.
Yeah, it puts a smile on my face.
Even if you don't want to adopt a dog, go out there, you won't believe it.
There's so many things to learn by going out to Big Dog Ranch that it's just amazing. And what they do for veterans, that's another thing that they do out there, and how they pair them up with a perfect dog for that veteran. And it's not an easy task. So go to bigdogranchrescue.org, and you can even fill out the application before you go out to Big Dog Ranch if you so choose to adopt. We are going to go to the Mystery Shopper Report, and that Mystery Shopping Report is from do you have your shop? GMC Buick Cadillac Vero.
Before I read the report, there's one more piece of breaking news that it's good news. We have the cyber hack, which is bad news for car dealers. It could be bad news for you too if you're dealing with that car dealer. But the good news is that Amazon and Hyundai have decided to open the program to all the dealers. So if you want to buy a Hyundai, if I was going to buy a Hyundai, and it's a good car, by the way, pick your model carefully and use Consumer Reports. But if you're going to buy a Hyundai, I'd wait till July, because in July they are going to have a lot more Hyundai dealers participating in the Amazon program. Now, if you buy a car on Hyundai with Amazon, you're going to get a real price. I'm betting it's going to be a low price, and it's going to be something that you can shop and compare. So you don't have to buy the car from Amazon. You want to buy a Hyundai? You go online, you go to the Honda dealers that are participating. I mean the Hyundai dealers that are participating, and then you take that price. If you want to shop your local dealer because he's not a member of the Amazon program, that's okay. Shop as many as you want. Be sure you get the true price without junk fees and dealer installed accessories. But this is a historical moment in the car business, buying new cars on Amazon. Now, I don't know about you, but I think Amazon is an amazing company. Nancy and I, we buy everything on Amazon. We just don't go to the stores anymore. That's a slight exaggeration. We do go to the stores sometimes just to get the exercise. But Amazon, if you don't like it, you return it. You get your price, and that's the price. And it's a low price, and you can shop and compare it online. Amazon is the name of the game. So when Amazon starts selling Hyundais, watch out, because when Hyundai is extremely successful, guess who's going to follow? All the other manufacturers. I mean, I'm talking myself right out of business here, because I've been a car dealer for too many years. And if Amazon picks this up, I don't know what's going to happen. I do know this: it's going to be good for you, the consumer.
That lifts off the end of the year, I think it is, where they're going to really go gun-ho on Amazon.
Yeah, it's getting better. They're sweetening the program all the time. It is going to be good. Okay. Mystery shopping report.
Let me tell the folks that they can vote. Yes, we appreciate your vote on the mystery shopping report, and that can be done at 772-497-6530. That's our text number where you can vote on this mystery shopping report.
Okay, Linus GMC Buick Cadillac in Vero Beach. You know a small town when you have multiple lines of General Motors products. So you don't see too many. We call them duals when there's two. What's a triple? GMC Buick Cadillac in Vero Beach, Florida. That's not really South Florida. It is technically geographically South Florida, but they're the perimeter of decency. They're not. They haven't crossed the Sodom and Gomorrah line, which is way down in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Palm Beach County. But it's up there. Was that Port St. Lucie County, Vero Beach? I think so.
I think it's out of Vero.
Here's the report. I'm speaking in the first person as if I were our undercover agent, Agent Lightning. A salesman was sitting at the customer service desk when I walked in. He said, hello. And I said I was here to see about getting a new car. He smiled and said he was very happy to help me today. He stood up and walked around to meet me. I asked if the car right out front was for sale. He said, yeah, he believed so. I then said, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. He apologized, extended his hand, and said, Brandon. Agent Lightning throws in these little comments about the salesmanship techniques. These mystery shopping reports are primarily to detect fraud and deception, but it's nice to know if someone has good salespeople. A salesperson should introduce himself. Back to the report. We walked out and checked out the car, a new 2024 Buick Encore GX Preferred with an MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price, Monroney label, of $29,280. The label was right there where it was supposed to be. Now, remember I said earlier, this is not really South Florida, Vero Beach. If you're in South Florida, try to find the Monroney label. It's going to be in the trunk, the glove compartment, underneath the seat. It might not be anywhere. The one place it won't be is on the window where federal law says it has to be, or else you're breaking the law. So every dealer in South Florida, almost, I don't, but most dealers in South Florida just ignore that law. So Vero Beach is up into, is past the bad line that we call South Florida. I told Brandon, the salesman, I was looking for something for my daughter, who was getting her driver's license soon. We went inside. He commented on how much he liked the color of the car, of that car. He said there were way too many white and silver cars on the road. Well, that's a good salesmanship type answer. The fact of the matter is, white and silver cars actually retain their value better than unusual colored cars. But to agree and reinforce a buyer's decision is a good sales technique. He then asked me if I'd be trading anything in. I said no. Brandon asked if I needed a new license plate. I said yes. He asked if I was military or a Costco member. He also asked me what other make, model car I own in hope of maybe finding some sort of competitive incentives. Some of these are really stretches, but this is not such a stretch. Costco is unusual that they would ask that because it tells me they're honest. A lot of times the salesperson in a car dealership doesn't want to know that you're a Costco member because a Costco member qualifies for a lower price than you sell that car to anyone else for. And that salesperson doesn't want to sell you a car at a lower price because that means a lower commission. So Brandon was honest. He asked if I was a Costco member. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. We then went for a test drive. Brandon went over how safe the Encores are, noting that I said my child would be driving it. Another good thing, reinforcing my belief and preference for color, and then doubling down on safety because it was for my child. Very good sales techniques. Once back at the dealership, we headed back to his desk. He said that as of right now, the best interest rates would likely change at the beginning. I think Stu wrote this up. I think he meant July, at the beginning of July, because but we're based on a 740 Beacon score, Equifax, for these rates. That's a pretty good credit rating, 740, so they do give a discount. Brandon then excused himself to speak with the sales manager. He was only gone for 5 minutes, a refreshingly short period of time, and returned with a sales worksheet and proceeded to go over the figures. Okay, the sale price, which means nothing, I don't know why, it probably is illegal to call this a sale price. I don't know. The sale price was what you sell it for, right? I mean, the sale price was MSRP $29,280, and there were no discounts. They added a $799 junk fee, which by my book, that isn't the selling price. But it is a selling price if you believe it's a fee, which you think is a government fee, but I digress. And tax and tag, and a $750 rebate came off the bottom line. Well, there's good news. I'm not sure which one that you qualified for, but he apparently qualified. I apparently qualified for one of the rebates. And that's, the fact that that was volunteered is good because a lot of car dealers just don't tell you about the factory rebates. Why? Because in the business office, the F&I office, when you're signing all those reams and reams of paper, there's one little piece of paper that says in the fine print, which you don't read, that you assign all rebates and incentives to the dealer. So if it's a customer rebate incentive, they probably were advertising it, but you missed the advertisement. So the dealer realized you missed that advertisement. So if they don't tell you about the rebate, they can pick that up and put it on the bottom line and make $750 more on the car. All they have to do is slide a little piece of paper there, this and this and this and this, and you sign something. They just gave the $750 rebate to the dealer. They didn't do that. They were honest about that. Where am I now? Oh yeah, my price was about $50 over MSRP. Oh, that's not a bad price. I smiled and said his deal was looking pretty good. Now, I say that's not a bad price. Let me say this. That is not a good price. General Motors is discounting cars. General Motors has incentives. General Motors has a high supply of cars in dealerships. So if you're shopping for General Motors car, you should get a discount, a good discount off of MSRP. By good, I mean at least $1,000 or a couple $1,000. You should get that if you're buying a General Motors car. Brandon asked how soon I'd be looking to buy. I said my husband and I were looking to buy in the next week or two, but if there were good deals, we might buy sooner. He reminded me that there's always room to adjust the numbers. Do you love that euphemism? I mean, haggle and hassle has a negative, negotiate has a negative connotation, but room to adjust the numbers. We're not haggling, we're adjusting the numbers. I love it. I nodded, recognizing the sales tactic, and then Brandon pointed out again that he was able to get me a $750 cash rebate. Then he switched things up and asked where I was looking to be as far as monthly payments were concerned. I replied that I was more interested in the out-the-door price than the payments, as we always pay off sooner than we finance them for. Brandon said he understood and would love to do business with me. He mentioned he had been there at the dealership for only 6 days. Well, he might have been there for 6 days, but he's been at other dealerships. This is an experienced salesperson, and he's good. It's not unusual to find a new salesman that's really been in the business a long time, because salespeople hop from dealership to dealership. My face must have betrayed some surprise, and he laughed, saying he'd been selling cars for many years. I laughed, I can tell. He said he didn't have cards yet, but gave me a cell number. He said when I was ready, he would definitely work with me to get me the price I liked. So there you have it. And as Nancy reminded you earlier, we'd love to hear your votes. And you can text your votes to 772-497-6530. And, of course, youtube.com. And we grade on the curve. So we want to be sure that the dealers get a fair score. I say fair score because the average dealer just isn't too, I hate to use the word, ethical. If I really want to be harsh, I'd say honest. But that's true. There's a lot of dishonesty and a lot of lack of morals and ethics in car dealerships today. So if we were to use an absolute scale of A to F, I wouldn't be able to recommend there very many dealers. I wouldn't recommend any dealers for you in South Florida. So we use the C average. So the average dealer is not really that good. But he's still, you got to buy a car somewhere, right? So we have a recommended dealer list and a do not buy from this dealer list at earloncars.com. So when you're grading Linus GMC Buick Cadillac in Vero Beach, use the curve. If relatively speaking they're doing a good job, you give them a B. Hardly ever an A. This A's are like hen's teeth. Is that the old expression? Scarce as hen's teeth. A's are scarce as hen's teeth. B's are pretty scarce. So a B would do for a good dealer. And a D generally will be for a bad dealer. And unless somebody's really breaking the law blatantly, we don't like to hand out F's, because an F, we don't even put them on the list. Anyway, that's the story. Do we have any votes coming in?
We do. First, I had several people mention that Vero's in Indian River County.
Indian River.
And?
I should have known that. I've been down there all my life.
Also, Rick, Jonathan let me know that we have 2 people on Zoom, and you're familiar with them, and they can chat via text. And that's Brenda and Negan.
Okay, let's see. We'll start right off with Jonathan in Wellington. He says, the dealership is on the border of decency, and it shows. With a properly placed Monroney, Costco membership partner, and a good credit discount is good news for the buyers. The bad news are the junk fees, and it costs the dealership a full grade. I'll give the dealership a B, which is amazing coming from me. Lose the dealer fees, and I'll raise her grade to an A. Let's see if we have more coming in here. Oh, yeah, we do. Bob in Maryland says B for the Buick and Brandon. Jonathan in Palm Coast. Oh, he's already there. Okay, that was who we just had. We have And Anonymous says B plus, pretty transparent, but junk fees and above MSRP. Let's see. Joseph Kelleher says C minus, would have been higher without the high dock fee. T Cash says C, but it's just a made in China Buick. Ooh. Tom Steckel, C plus, no addendums, out the door price is too high based on GM inventory situation. Negan 1 says C minus. I gave my info to Jonathan, so yep, Jonathan's got his info on that. And let's see. Oh, we have a bunch over here. Jonathan Z. Fradley says, good grief, Linus GMC Buick. Charlie Brown thinks it's only a fair deal. C.
That is a funny name, Linus.
Yup. Tim Gilliland, refreshing and straightforward, but still too pricey. B minus. Mark Smith says, I give this dealership a B minus. Guy Larrabee, pardon me, folks, A minus because of the $7.99 dock fee. Brian Sidlatko, no haggling, it's a C for me. Cram 1624, still worried about getting in the finance box and watching the add-ons. D. Pop Hartley says B. George Petrillo says, I would negotiate the dock fee. Insist they lower the price of the car for the amount of the dock fee. And he didn't really give a grade from George. Okay, that's all it for the texting.
Well, that last comment is a very good one because I maybe he was listening when I spoke earlier in the show about the salesperson is not paid on the dock fee. So that $599 on a 25% commission would be $2,000 in price.
$7.99.
$7.99. So it'd be $3,000. So yeah, that's so when you want to negotiate the dock fee, the junk fee, when you want to have them take the junk fees out, you don't ask them to take the fees out because that would be technically costing the salesperson so much money. It would be no, I can't do it. It can't be done. But if you say, if you'll lower the price by $3,000, I'll buy the car today, then he'll go to his manager and there'll be a long discussion. That might be, you might still have to do some haggling and hassling, but you'll get a flat no, not even going to think about it on the junk fee, but we'll talk about it. Just convert the junk fee into a price reduction. And then you've got the salesman on your side, and maybe even the sales managers, because the sales managers don't get paid sometimes on the junk fees. So you'll have a coalition. You'll have the salesman, the sales manager, you against the dealer, and they got a better chance. But don't attack the dealer fee per se. They'll never take it off.
Yeah, and my vote would be I'm going to say B minus. I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah. What do you say, Nancy? What's your grade?
You know how I feel about fees, and for that I give them a C minus. And folks, anything is negotiable, especially when you go into a dealership. So keep that in mind. Negotiate. You can't lose. C minus.
I'm going to give them a B. I got a good feeling about it, and I think it just reinforces. Now that I know it's Indian River County, that sounds for a lot further north than Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie is still feeling the ramifications of Sodom and Gomorrah. But Indian River County, that's a lot more peaceful and civilized up there.
It is. That's what I heard. We have 2 minutes left. What would you like to do with that?
Well,
everybody take a nap.
We had a caller earlier that talked about Costco and how he got the sensors at a very reasonable price. So I say this every week, and if you're not familiar with Costco, find a Costco. There's some if you have to drive 100 miles to Costco, it's a great store, and you don't have to drive there if you join their auto buying program for Costco. I don't care where you are. Join the Costco auto buying program. It's like $65, and you're going to buy a car. You'll save 10 times that
Yeah.
by going to Costco.
Well worth it.
Yeah.
Well worth it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. History in the making with our Zoom app. And we'll be right back here next week, 8 a.m. So stay tuned. It'll be another exciting show.